What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be giving a nice little feedback on Peter Schrager's Mock Draft 1.0. So if you guys are new here, like this type of content, feel free to stick around. And today is a very special episode because I am evolving Mock the Mock into my own thing because somebody brought this up. It was a brilliant idea. We're going to be continuing his mock draft at the end of this. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be fun. We're going to go through all the picks, and then we're actually going to continue into the second round as if this happened. So, of course, stay tuned because we've never done that before, and it's going to be exciting. Starting off with the number one pick, you got Aiden Hutchinson. Love it. I mean, again, I think that he's my number 3 player in the class. Dude should have won the Heisman Trophy. We're going to be honest. I do love him to death. Really damn good player, and it's exactly what Jacksonville needs. Just another really big impact player for the next 10 to 20 years. KT to the Lions. I love that because Peter Schrager is very much what I hear versus what I actually think. It's good to hear that KT might be still worth that number 2 overall pick. Definitely the most tough pick in the entire draft. Texans going Evan Neal. Love that to death. Him and Laramie Tunsil, A+ moves. I think they could go Icky, but if not, Evan Neal is an A+ move. I have Evan Neal higher myself. Number 4, the Jets go Sauce Gardner, my number 1 player in the entire draft class. And, having him on this roster would be absolutely dominant. Again, the Jets defense was pretty heavily revolving around Darrelle Revis at one point. I think Sauce Gardner could definitely be the next Darrelle Revis for the New York Jets. So I'm personally a big fan of it. I would be surprised if they don't go after someone more raw like Travon Walker or go after an offensive tackle like Ike Ekwonu at this pick. But if they go Sauce, I'm going to give an A++ pick. 5, the Giants go Ike Ekwonu. Again, if that's what's on the board, you take it. I love Ike Ekwonu. Has the most upside out of any tackle in this draft class. Panthers going Kenny Pickett. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to start agreeing that this should be the pick for the Panthers, given the mindset that the organization's in. Most of the front office is about to get their ass fired. They need the best day one results. Kenny Pickett is going to be probably that. It's really like a self-preservation thing rather than what's best for the franchise, which I think would be Malik Willis or, honestly, better in my opinion, an offensive tackle. Regardless, I think that Kenny Pickett is going to be your best chance of, if you're the front office, of keeping your job. You show that you might be able to win 6-7 games. I don't know. I'm trying to justify it. I just think that that's going to be their logic. It's okay, if we want to keep our jobs, that's our best bet. Then the Giants go Travon Walker. Obviously, Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator, has been able to develop Odafe Oweh. So if you're complaining about production with Travon Walker, same argument was last year with Odafe Oweh, and look what Wink was able to turn him into. Big fan of what Travon Walker could be on the Giants. Falcons going Jermaine Johnson. It's going to be your best day one impact, and I love Jermaine Johnson. Could end up being the best edge rusher in this class. It's not out of the range of feasibility, so to speak. So, I was really high on Jermaine Johnson before everybody else. I was thinking back when he was in the 2nd or 3rd round, a lot of people's, I was putting him 16 to the Eagles, and all of a sudden that would be the lowest he could ever go in history. I don't know. I love Jermaine Johnson, but he is also a little bit older, and I think the Falcons are going to want a little bit more of a freak or maybe something that could be a better impact in the long run. Jermaine Johnson could be that for sure, but at the same time, I think that if you are just in that poor of shape, you want to start getting pieces before you start getting impact players. So I think that getting more of the unicorn styles, Drake London, Jordan Davis, Kyle Hamilton, guys that you just can't get every single draft, that's going to be a little bit better than a day one pass rusher like Jermaine Johnson, who kind of gives me a little bit of shades of what we saw last year with Jalen Phillips. Even though I love Jermaine, again, I love Jermaine to death. He's an absolute stud, but I don't think the Falcons are exactly looking for that at pick 8. Now, if you trade back, absolutely a great move. Just, again, that's a top 10 pick. They're selecting on someone who probably won't be able to get past a 1st or 2nd contract. And you want these guys to be there for a long time so you can actually compete with them. Seattle Seahawks going Charles Cross, A+ move. I love it. Want to talk about this one. New York Jets going Jameson Williams. It isn't, again, out of the range of feasibility that Jameson comes back and is still the number 1 wide receiver in this class to some people. The Jets don't need a wide receiver 1. They don't. They think that maybe Elijah Moore could be that. They want someone who could work in with Corey Davis and Elijah Moore. Jameson Williams could do that. You have a quarterback with the throw distance, throw ability, throw power to be able to get it to Jameson Williams downfield. That is going to be perfectly fine. So if they do go this route, I'm going to be against it because, again, Jameson Williams is my number 8 wide receiver, but that's as a sole talent. I never thought he could be a wide receiver 1. And I think that Corey Davis being that wide receiver 1 prototype build and not having to bear the load of a wide receiver 1 is going to be what Jameson Williams can offer this roster. And that's going to be probably worth it at pick 10. So, because he's not going to be there probably past pick 16. So it's like, you might say it's a reach. It's not. He's not going to be there later on. So even if you wanted to trade back, I'm sure a team would be very enticed with Jameson Williams. Again, I would go Garrett Wilson, but I mean, again, to each his own. Washington Commanders going Kyle Hamilton. I think that, again, that's more the unicorn player. You might want to just develop your scheme more around him, even though it's not exactly a schematic fit. Minnesota Vikings going Derek Stingley. I love that pick to death because, again, he came back and he was healthy enough. He didn't even try on his 40. You could tell on most of his athletic drills he wasn't trying as hard as he could have because he wanted to make sure that he was comfortable, and he still tested out this world. Houston Texans going Devin Lloyd. Not for it myself, but could I see Lovie Smith doing it? Absolutely. You're getting a proven leader who could command your defense. I could see it happening. I just don't think, especially with the depth of linebacker in this class, that taking it at pick 13 is exactly much of a decision. In my mind, I don't think so. Ravens going Trevor Penning. They're probably just trying to develop him for the future to become either a good backup who could potentially succeed Rodney Stanley, which is weird, or else you can use him at right tackle, where I think Morgan Moses is there for a couple of years. But I mean, if you do select him, I'm not going to be mad at it. I do think a pass rusher is the biggest priority, though. Trevor Penning has a ton of upside, and you could sit him for a year, and this is probably a long-term move. If they do that, I'm not exactly sure how comfortable the Ravens are with saying they can win right at this moment, which is weird because the Ravens have a damn good roster, apart from maybe like an edge rusher and then some help in like that secondary. There are some pieces that you need, but I think that's pretty addressable in this draft. Eagles going Drake London. I would, again, personally rather go Garrett Wilson, but Drake London, I don't know why Eagles fans there's this hate on Drake London that is totally unwarranted. He does a great job of being able to separate at a high level. And yeah, maybe he's not to Mike Evans level, but he's even better than Mike Williams. So, it's just Drake London is a different type of breed. He's going to be running the 40, so we'll actually see how fast he is. Then we can make some official claims, whether he can actually separate at the next level with his speed. Gotta love that. But, Drake London has a lot to offer. Garrett Wilson to the Saints is an A+ pick. I'm not even going to talk about that. Chris Olave to the Chargers, another A+ pick. I think that he could be pretty much the successor to Keenan Allen, and he could definitely provide a really nice deep threat in the short run. Eagles going Trent McDuffie, definitely fits the scheme. I'm not a huge fan of Trent McDuffie myself, as you guys know, and I do have a website up where I have a ton of scouting reports that are in a nutshell. You can read it in 2 to 3 minutes. So if you don't want to read all these super long, boring, super technical when they don't need to be articles, feel free to check those out. Again, links are going to be in the description for everything that you're going to be looking for. Jordan Davis to the New Orleans Saints. I guess you're continuing to develop more of a unique style of defense. I don't really know where he fits exactly, but I'm never going to deny Jordan Davis. I mean, again, you're getting one of those unicorn style players. Steelers go Malik Willis. I think that is a pretty solid get because you can also rest him a year. This team's not ready to compete yet. Zion Johnson to the Patriots. I do that myself. Packers going Treylon Burks. I love that too. So far, we're doing pretty damn well overall. Jahan Dotson to the Cardinals is a little bit weird, but then again, he does fit that mold where you just lost Christian Kirk. You want to continue making Kyler happy. I would say it's either going to be an offensive lineman or a wide receiver, even though I would like to try to target a corner at this pick. Tyler Smith to the Cowboys. I've done that a plethora of times and gotten my ass chewed out for it. I still think it's honestly the best move, even over Kenyon Green, because I think Tyler Smith is going to be an absolutely amazing player in the long run, especially if he gets to play guard in the short run and get taught by a Hall of Famer in Tyron Smith. You Cowboys fans need to be more open to the idea. It's really starting to get annoying at how arrogant some people are because Tyler Smith could just be that dude for you. It's ridiculous. Buffalo Bills going Quay Walker. So I know Quay's been featured in a lot of people's top 32s. I'm not on that train yet, but I still think Quay Walker's a phenomenal linebacker. If he goes in the second round, never going to be going against him. It's a little bit weird. I'll put it that way, especially when Kobe Dean goes next. Like, if you're going to go I know Quay's a different style linebacker. I'll give him that. It's just, Dean is just such a freaky player. He's just, I mean, yeah, he's scheme specific, sure, but he offers just such a high ceiling. And I love Kobe Dean to death. Having him going to the Titans is very unrealistic, very much a third round linebacker team. Same thing with wide receiver. It's like a second round plus issue for them. Super annoying. But if they end up doing this, not going to complain. Buccaneers going Kyler Gordon, so they're having the short end of the stick. I think that there are better slot. I mean, there's better corners on the board. You got Kyer Elam, who, if you really just want to stick to a man-to-man defense, that's a good one. Or if you want to make it more a hybrid or multiple, you have Andrew Booth there. Kyler Gordon's probably the last dude I would draft out of that group. Devontae Wyatt to the Packers. Packers fans are going to go crazy, but honestly, I think it's a really good move. I looked at your interior defensive line depth, not very solid, and I think Devontae Wyatt could start day one for you. Travis Jones to the Chiefs, that's a weird one, but I'm not going to lie, I really like it. The problem is going to be what happens next, but I really love Travis Jones, and this interior defensive line class is really crap. To put it very bluntly, it's very crap. You have three dudes who could probably make a legit impact, and I say two of them can actually be high upside starters. And that's not Devontae Wyatt. Devontae Wyatt is definitely going to be someone who's very consistent, good pass rusher, but doesn't have that ability to morph into the identity of the defense. Travis Jones and Jordan Davis, those guys are absolute freaks of nature. Definitely could be the face of the franchise for a team that might not have a quarterback. Of course, Chiefs don't need to worry about that, but I'm saying the talent upside is most there. And this is a problem I have. Chiefs moved back with the Seahawks for them to get Matt Corral. I'm not talking about the Seahawks moving up. They got their quarterback. I would be going a different route, and I love Matt Corral. You guys know that. But I think that the Chiefs are like, dude, there's some really good wide receivers still on the board. It would be a good spot to pretty much just say, hey, you know what? Let's go and let's draft a wide receiver here. Again, it depends on what the price would be. In the mock that I did, I just sent like a this year third. I know that's not true, but it's not going to affect the mock. But then you got George Karlaftis here to the Bengals. I mean, if it happens, it happens. And it definitely fits what they're looking for. If they don't want to, I'm trying to think if they've paid Sam Hubbard yet. Like, George Karlaftis would be nasty. I mean, next to Trey Hendrickson, it'd be ridiculous. I love George Karlaftis, that top 10 player on my board. And then the Lions go after Des Ridder. You saw the quote from Dan Campbell online. Obviously, if you guys haven't followed me on Twitter, I do like to post a lot of stuff there. So feel free to check that out, including talking about Dan Campbell saying I really like a lot of these options in the draft. If that's the case, I would much rather go for the highest upside player. Again, I'm a Sam Howell truther, so that's just me. But Des Ridder would be not the guy I would target. I would probably try to trade back maybe with a team like Atlanta if they wanted to get a QB. I have no idea. I would just feel a little bit weird if I'm a Lions fan and we're coming out of the draft with Desmond Ridder at 32, because it's a big change as well. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if we can get right into the mock draft, though. As you see, I prepared this already for you guys. Yeah, now we can make myself bigger. Yeah, like you wanted to see me even more, right? But number 33, if the board fell this way, I love this. Tyler Linderbaum's on the board, and this is as good of a pick as you could ever imagine. I want Tyler Linderbaum to be traded up for by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think I might have done it in my most recent mock draft. You guys can check that out. It was a spicy mock draft, and I don't think people understood that, but that is A-okay. Tyler Linderbaum would be an A plus, well, more A plus pick for a team that just lost Brandon Linder. Number 34 with the Lions. I think Kenny Green would be a fun option. I'm not going to do it, but Kyer Elam definitely in that equation. I have him as a top dude. You know what? We'll go to my board. We'll do it. So you guys get to see who's still here. Fortunately, quarterback's off the board. Linebacker is still an issue, and I'm going to fill it. Leo Chanel out of Wisconsin, right next to Michigan. You know, he's been a pretty damn amazing leader there in Wisconsin. If you guys haven't checked it out, I do have an interview with Wisconsin starting defensive back Caesar Williams, which, by the way, funnily enough, he lives like 10 minutes away. We got to eat lunch and stuff. Dude's freaking awesome, by the way. Great dude. You guys should definitely check out that video because he also talks about Leo Chanel Jack Sanborn, and some other dudes on Wisconsin. And he gave some highlights into Jackson Smith and Jigba, as well as some other wide receivers like that. So he also is part of the reason why I'm not very high on Jackson Smith and Jigba. Number 35, the Jets are on the board, and I still think that Bernhard Raimann could be this pick, but we have not addressed an edge position yet, and there are some phenomenal ones on the board. Hello. Arnold Ebiketie would be great. David Ojabo would be great. Hell, the safeties are on the board. I mean, I'm trying to see who would be there. I think edge rusher could definitely be something I go with right here, as well as right here. Safety is something I would take right here potentially, but we got to go edge. We have to. We're gonna go. Oh, that's a tough one. Oh man, I think Arnold Ebiketie fits a little bit better. David Ojabo is gonna need a little more time to develop, but yeah, we're gonna go with that. I mean, I love Arnold Ebiketie. He is, as you saw, a top 25 player on my board. It would be definitely a great day one impact right across from, I think, Carl Lawson, because Shaq Lawson's in Buffalo. Might have gotten that flipped up, but I think Carl Lawson's there with the Jets coming back after injury. Number 36 with the Giants. This pick should be probably a linebacker or a safety, in my opinion. We could go line, but I don't think that's going to be the case. You did just end up losing out on Logan Ryan, and you're pretty much down, not to mention Jabril Peppers, but you're down to Xavier McKinney. Daxton Hill could be a nasty safety for you. You could be definitely a good roamer over the top, and potentially losing Garrett Bradbury. Oh, hold up now. Oh, man. This is a tough one. I'm going to go Kyer Elam here because you potentially might be losing Garrett Bradbury, and Wink Martindale focuses heavily on man-to-man corners. Kyer Elam's not getting any hype. Again, you saw where he is on my board. I took him for the Giants in my first round last time. You guys will see if you guys check out the mock. It was not at 5 or 7. Don't worry about that. We traded back with the Saints. But we got him around like pick 19, I believe. So yeah, Kyer Elam certainly is a phenomenal prospect. And I think that people are sleeping on him. He fits perfectly with what Wink Martindale wants to do. Number 37 with the Texans here. Edge definitely is something I want to use, but I'm trying to think of dudes. I'd rather go Kingsley or I would love to go Boye on the squad. Boye deserves to get some hype here, guys. The question is, do I want to take him or Lewis Cine? I'm going to go Lewis Cine here. Safety is a pretty big void in my opinion, and you can get an absolute lockdown threat with Lewis Cine. Could go Dax Hill and be basically your Justin Reed replacement. You do whatever the hell you want, but Lewis Cine's going to be my guy right here. At this pick, man, the problem is I think Bernhard Raimann is actually pretty damn good. Just not as good as the people who love Bernhard Raimann. To me, I'm going to pull it because I also know that Joe Douglas loves his offensive lineman. This is going to be a guy you can develop for a year to be able to play right tackle. I think that's going to be your best upside move. For the Bears, let's see who's still on the board. Don't worry, I'm not taking a quarterback, but I just want you guys to see who I have at each spot. And Kenyon Green's going to be the dude who's sticking out to me. Corner definitely is an underrated need for the Bears, but Kenyon Green has to be selected. That guard spot is damn vacant, everybody. It is vacant right now, and I think that would be a phenomenal move for the roster. For the Chiefs, dude, David Ojabo's on the board still, and it's ridiculous. As well as Boye Mafe, another ridiculous thing. As well as Sky Moore, another ridiculous thing. I think you can get Calvin Austin at the end of the second and be perfectly happy. We're going to be honest. I don't think that you need to go wide receivers early as people are saying. Corner, maybe. Tariq Woolen needs to move down, by the way. I'm not that high on him, but I don't see anybody who's really worth it at this point. I'd much rather target an edge rusher. You got David Ojabo, you got Boye Mafe. The question is, which one do you want? And I know this team's trying to build for the future. We're going to get David Ojabo here. You know, he's not going to be ready year one, but he's a dude who is arguably being a top 10 pick. You take your chance on that. You have to. So David Ojabo is going to be the right move for this squad. Number 41, is Andrew Booth still on the board? He is. Andrew Booth is a really damn good prospect. I would look at Boye Mafe as well. Oh, what would the Seahawks do? Because I do think that wouldn't be a terrible idea to, that's actually pretty tough. That is tough. Because I don't know. You know what? I was about to say, we're going to go Andrew Booth here. Yeah, I think that's the right move. Because yeah, well, I'm not even gonna explain myself. You guys know that's a damn good move for the Seahawks. He has good enough athleticism. He has good enough tools. You rock with it. Corner definitely needs to be something to address for the Colts, but it's not good enough, guys. It's not. Martin Emerson maybe is as good as you can get. Edge rusher, you still have Boye Mafe on the board. You can have him develop for a while. I'm not really a huge fan of what's going on here, but wide receiver is also a position of need. Sky Moore's on the table. You have to scoop him up. Sky Moore out of Western Michigan, sign me up for that. And actually, I don't think we're going to be doing any trades for this, just to keep it pretty plain Jane. At this moment, I'll be pulling the trigger on Sam Howell in a heartbeat, man. I'm telling you, straight up, like, I don't give a rat's ass. I seriously don't. You got your edge rusher, wide receiver still in need, but again, you just saw the top dudes come off the board, and I don't think Alec Pierce. Oh, George Pickens is here too. Shit. I think that you'll be good enough at the next pick. Oh, I'm so like I'm like walking on eggshells saying that. But yeah, George Pickens, Christian Watson, as well as Alec Pierce. I think that the Bears will be in the target in the range for a wide receiver. The Saints could be. I mean, if you think about it, if you pass on a quarterback here, who's going to take Sam Howell? I think the Saints would be. I think the Saints would be the target, the people to worry about, and that's in your own division because ain't nobody like we're not moving up here. I think you have to play some defense here. And again, you guys see where Sam Howell's ranked on mine. You damn well know I'm putting Sam Howell at North Carolina at this pick. Number 44. Ooh, so we still got some high-end dudes on the board for me. I love Myjai Sanders. Everybody hates him. This is going to be Boye Mafe 10 out of 10 times. I don't even care. I'm not even going to look at anybody else who's on the board. Have Boye Mafe trained by Myles Garrett? Hell yes. Also saves him from going to a team with Odafe Owe. But this team desperately, I mean, you guys desperately need some help on that edge rushing room. I think your best day one impact might be Myjai. I really do. And people just don't vibe with that idea. But I don't care. I don't. I'm going to be honest. I don't care. We've seen Dax Hill fall a little bit. Again, he is a little bit undersized. Played slot corner the majority of this past year. But we're going to be actually going after Jaquan Brisker for the Vikings, continuing to bolster that secondary. This team, unfortunately, we can't go Dax Hill. You just can't. So we're going to be going George Pickens out of Georgia. Yeah, sign me up for that. This pick right here is going to be Christian Watson. I think that's going to be giving a really nice, tall, deep threat potential wide receiver one to Justin Fields. You're pretty much just building around Justin Fields. With this pick, though, Honey Badger, I don't think is going to be ending up landing there anytime soon. Jalen Pitre could be that move because I think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson might be moving to safety, which means that slot corner position might be open as well. I think Pitre could play slot, he could play safety. Same thing with Dax Hill though. And I'm gonna go Dax. I love them both. You can choose either one. I really don't care because they're gonna go back to back. They are. They're right there, back to back. And of course, the Chiefs have yet to sign a wide receiver, but that is A-OK. You got 51 with the Eagles, and we've already went Drake London as well as Trent McDuffie. Now, I think safety is still a position of need. Nick Cross would be, I love Nick Cross. Again, I could definitely see him going here. Breece Hall would be an option. I would get my arms torn off for that one. I already know that one. But linebacker to me is still a need. You got Chad Muma here, who could be your true Mike. Again, people are saying 2 linebackers have already been taken. One, Hassan Reddick is not a linebacker. If you use him as a linebacker, there ain't no way in hell that you sign him for $15 million a year and Bobby freaking Wagner makes like 10. Okay, let's just get that out in the air. Edge rusher still could be a position you target. Still could be. I'm not going to do it, though. I love Brian Asamoah, but I do think that Chad Muma is going to have the biggest impact on this roster. Troy Anderson's a sneaky dude. Same thing with Christian Harris. You can choose from all those dudes. I've always liked Chad Muma to the Eagles, and I'm going to continue on that train. Steelers, I don't know why interior offensive line is still listed as a need. I don't get it. We literally have a pretty solidified interior offensive line right now. I don't get it. Again, seriously, I have no freaking idea why they would say that. But Perry Winfrey would be interesting. This is a weird spot that I would potentially trade out of personally. But you did lose Juju. So I think Alec Pierce could be a really fun option. 4.41 speed at what, 6'3". Yeah, and he's a really damn good wide receiver. I'll say that. He's a really damn good wide receiver. So I would definitely be looking in there. I would definitely say Nick Cross is an option for the Steelers. So you have a really damn good coach on your roster and Brian Flores, who's just a linebackers coach. But you saw him, he drafted Javon Holland and developed him into a freaking star. This could be a very similar situation. I don't see any corners that I would be willing to take at the moment. I'm going to pull the trigger on Nick Cross. I am. I think that's going to be a piece that they can build around. Also, they've drafted Maryland safeties before, if I'm not mistaken. I think Antoine Brooks Jr. was someone they drafted in like the 7th round or 6th round a couple years ago. And I think Nick Cross could be just an absolute monster. I think he has a 9.8 RAS score. Ridiculous athlete. 4.3, 4.40. Like just uber athletic. Number 53 with the Green Bay Packers. I would still consider getting an edge rusher here. Offensive lineman to me needs to be in this consideration though. You know, you do look at it. I think Sean Ryan being able to move to guard and then you can move Elton Jenkins to right tackle is going to be the best thing that you can do for your franchise. That's going to be where I'm at. 54. I hate that this is actually a possibility, but Tariq Woolen is going here. I said I was going to be lowering him a lot, but he's Bill Belichick's dude. 6'4", 4'2", 640. Maybe not the most fluid guy in the world, but if you want him to work, it's going to go with Bill Belichick. Number 55. So the Cardinals have already attacked wide receiver. I think the big issue lies on their defensive front. Sam Williams is going to be a day one impact. I think that he'd be a great fit for this roster as well. Nick Bonito up in that category as well. Number 56 with the Cowboys. I think we don't have Jalen Pitre anymore because I would like that. Alec Pierce would be fun. I do think that's a little too similar to Simi Fehoko. I'd rather not spend a draft pick on Alec Pierce and go with Simi Fehoko if I can get another developmental edge rusher. Drake Jackson definitely feels like someone that the Cowboys would be looking at. He's not 254. I think he showed up at like 270 at his like pro day or at the combine and still tested very, very well. So I think he should be in this consideration. Kingsley Enagbare, he just ran like a 4.9 and that's not good enough, honestly. We're going to go Drake Jackson here out of USC, who everybody had mocked in the first round for such a long time, except for me. I'll toot my horn to that one. But I think that now people are starting to underrate him. And for the Bills, we need to get a corner ASAP. Martin Emerson, Roger McCreary still here. I'm going with Martin Emerson, who I think is a lock-it-down corner for zone. I think that he could be a really good pairing to Tre'Davious White. Number 58, this needs to be a wide receiver. We are going to be grabbing Alec Pierce here out of Cincinnati. Ain't no bones about it. 59 for the Packers. We already went offensive line. I think linebacker definitely could be another position to target. I love Brian Asamoah with a passion. I'll just say this, though. Trey McBride's on the board. I'm snagging Trey McBride 10 out of 10 times. Number 60, we got the Buccaneers. And, I mean, for them, offensive line is definitely a position I would look at. Safety, it's the last thing I would probably look at the moment. Linebacker, this team doesn't need much. I'm going to be honest. Let's get some interior defensive line help. Perrion Winfrey has a lot of upside. We're going to be taking him for this roster and seeing what sticks. Niners, I don't know what's going on with you and Debo. I don't. But I'm going to pray for y'all and hope that it ends up working out. We're going to remain positive here. I'm going to look at an edge rusher who has a lot of upside. There's going to be Kingsley Enagbare. We'll see where he goes in the actual draft, but I do think he brings a lot of day one impact to a roster that, you lost out, I believe, on Arden Key. He'd be a good addition to it. Then you got the Chiefs. Corner, certainly with Roger McCreary would be a fun option, but I think Calvin Austin being your dude after the catch as a boundary threat as well. He's not been in the slot. He's been a boundary threat, would be the best option for this franchise. Number 63, the Cincinnati Bengals. We got an edge rusher. Very interesting. Very interesting to say the least. Tight end could definitely be something. If you want to just reach for Jelani Woods, you could just go balls to the wall right there. I think that linebacker is not out of the question, but corner needs to be in this realm. Roger McCreary is going to be your dude. And ending off this extension draft, we are going to be looking at Brian Asamoah here. to the Broncos. Just again, he's my number 2 linebacker in the draft class. So that is going to be the draft, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me see if you guys have anything that you want to tweak. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.